So yeah, I'm going to do a bit of a shorter stream today. I'm going to continue off from where we were yesterday. We were working on the progression systems yesterday. I can't remember where we got to. I haven't done any of this level off air, so let's figure out where we were yesterday. I'll probably stream for an hour from now, so it's 10 to 2 now where I am, so probably till 10 to 3. So let's begin, shall we? You're right. All right, Daniel Sly. Good to have you with us. Okay, so I can't remember what I was doing. We were doing the purchase and I do remember, yeah. There's a UI we did, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Isn't there? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I need to come up with a more acceptable method of unlocking these, because plugging all these in each time seems ridiculous. I don't see how I can. Right, I've got an idea. So basically, if I can take the colony data from this, just launch the ET and a notification of a disk appeared. All right. Well, on Steam. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Just launched the ATU and all of a sudden I went live. That is fate. Local colony SATA. That's not what I meant. Get. Just gonna run a quick test. So I'm just gonna run a really quick test here, just to check something. I'm basically checking whether this actually changes the value, because it's a bit of a dodgy area. It's changing structs. Yeah, it's going to be a bit like Holdout, but a lot more complex. And also, I've got a bigger variety of enemies to work with because it's not a demo level. So yeah, a bit like the Holdout demo level. But I'm also adding progression into it. So there's going to be each time you play it, you're going to get points to unlock things the next time you play it. And we wanted to work on this level because it's something that I can actually test. So I can actually finish, I can make the level from start to finish. We don't have to keep we don't have to wait for the movement code to be sorted. Okay. So that's what it is beforehand. Then I'm going to edit the value and then see if it's actually edited after. If it is, we are laughing. Before I do that, I'm going to do this as well. So I'm going to actually set it to something to start with. Okay, let's run the test. All right, Raptor, good to have you with us. Are you going to start the level with an extra worker like in normal Holdout? Oh, could do. I haven't really thought about the starting setup, to be honest. Okay, so what it should be is false true. Yeah, cool. Okay, we are good then. Okay, so I don't need this ridiculously complicated thing here. You can actually just pass it through. So what we're going to do is, as part of the construction function, we're going to... So that stores the save game. That sets the unlock points. We're now going to store... We're going to store the colony data. And we're going to plug that back in when we start the level. So there we are. We've got a local version of it which we're going to edit and then plug it back in when we start the level. So now this function that we did yesterday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this into a function. Purchase function. So basically I've got one function which deals with the purchases and just looks for different aspects of it rather than... So it's basically, so I've got one central purchase function rather than having to repeat it multiple times out like this. Okay, so we are going to need to get the costs separately. Because that's going to be based on what you're purchasing. We need an input here. I'm just going to do this really simply because it's just for this level, so I'm not going to do anything complicated. So each purchase is going to be assigned a number. When it comes in here, it's going to try and make that purchase. So switch on this number, purchase number 1, It's going to be the wood ant soldier. Actually, don't need that. Let's create a local. Trying to make generic as much as I can. So this is what? Cost name. What are you doing today? Today I am working on the same level we were working on yesterday. Which is like it's another side mission. It's like a holdout style side mission. So you're holding out against waves of enemies, whilst also expanding underground. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more interesting by having an unlock system. So each time you play, you can unlock different creatures to play with. I might do various ability unlocks as well. We'll see how far we get. Oh, damn it. Ah, damn it. So what was it? Wood ant melee. I'm gonna actually have a look at the array actually, just so I get these right. Some of them are a little bit funny actually. It's content, assets, data, and costs.csv. That's the one. This is just for my own reference. Not yet, no. However, I'm working on this map specifically because it was not going to require me to wait for any of the movement code to be finished. Yeah, that's the idea. Is you should there should be an element of replayability to this, so you can build up to different things. I'm essentially using systems that already exist in the game in new ways. So that's the one. Wood ant soldier build. So that section, it's just going to set the variables it needs to make the purchase. Next, it's going to look up the cost and, oops, as it did here, it's going to check whether you can afford the purchase. I believe that's what that's doing. So get the cost. If the player's unlock points are greater than the cost, then minus the cost from the unlock points, and this is going to be the final step where it actually makes the purchase. So again, here I am actually going to need compile that. going to need to split off into different things. It needs to unlock different things. So just going to put a comment around this. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Come see what was going on. You sleep well, and yeah, thanks very much. It's only a short stream today anyway, so you're not going to miss too much. I think we're quarter way through it already. We should be finishing this one off next week. Today I'll probably just be working on these purchases and maybe neatening them up a little bit. And then next week we'll be looking at actually putting the attack waves into the level and the creatures in the underground. Should probably be another day or two working on this. Okay, so number 0 needs to do what we did here. Local colony data. We want to set, was it wood amp melee? Yeah, there it is. I think once you've already purchased them as well, then it'll grey the buttons out. That's the time to grey the buttons out. So that'll be what shows you that you can no longer make the purchase because you've already done it, or that you've purchased the other way. Oh, the new, yeah, I've already answered that one. Okay, so struct out. I don't think I need to do anything with the struct out because it's actually editing the thing itself. But it's made the purchase there. Set that to true. That's fine. That should be fine. Now the final step here is at the end is to put the local colony data back where it came from. So I need to put it back into the save game file. So get save game file, colony, set colony setup. There we go, putting it back into the save file. Right, so I actually haven't got anything in here that's saving anything yet. Even in the previous code, there was nothing. So I'll do that now. Basically, it's going to shove that save file back in. Then it needs to save game to slot. So basically saving any of the purchases you've made. and then we carry on. Okay, 1 second. Just testing this now. So click that. That didn't do anything. I know why I haven't actually hooked it up. But also I want to make it grey out the button. I'm clicking it. I'm going to make it disable the button as well. It's a funny way of thinking about disabling something is setting is enabled to false. That's the way programming goes. But I don't want it to do any of this. We've dealt with this elsewhere now. I want it to purchase 0. No, not necessarily. It's only if it successfully makes the purchase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this into the purchase. Because this is only if it successfully makes the purchase. Right, let's try that. Okay, cool. That seemed to work. If I run it again, I should have less resources. Yep, less resources. Okay, next I want to disable that if it's already purchased. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there with this. Is it planned in the future to let us play as the Leafcutter colony in free play mode? Yes. I've actually already implemented that, but I'm literally just waiting for the movement code to finish its update. So we're about halfway through the time period that we gave the movement code to be updated. And what's going on at the minute is there's a big overhaul of the movement code in the game, which is why I've been struggling to test things, because I think multiple things are broken in the game at the minute. And what's going to happen is once that movement code is in place, we'll start. I'll start putting all these pieces together that I've already been working on. So the Leafcutter stuff in free play, I believe, is done. It still needs testing, but it's done. There's a free play map that's half done, which I do actually need to go back to at some point, but that mostly needs decorating now, I think. There's these monthly levels, which this is the 4th one I'm working on, and they'll start rolling out at that point. So basically there's going to be a wodge of content that comes out once this movement code's done. It won't be immediately once the movement code's done, because then we need to make sure everything's in place and get it tested. But there'll be a wodge of content which will include the free play updates, which will have a new map, Leafcutters in free play rules being revised, new Ubers in free play. So basically the rainforest will be mostly functional in free play on a new map. And these monthly levels will start rolling out with it, releasing once a month. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. And the idea of the monthly levels as well is to give some sort of content ongoing. So they're levels that take us a lot less effort to put together. So they don't take huge amounts of time out of the original content plan, but they also provide these extra interesting scenarios where we can break some rules as well, putting them together. So, where was I? Okay, so that purchase has been made. Right, so at the beginning of the begin play, when, where is that? Construct. I'm going to make another function here. I'm going to call it block out upgrades. So what this function is going to do, it's going to look at what upgrades you currently have and disable the buttons for them. So for now, I believe it's Wood Amp Melee, Wood Amp Variant. That's going to be part of the Wood Ant. What else do we have as options here? We had Leafcutter Medea, Leafcutter Major and its variant, then Trapjaw. Okay. So Wood Amp Melee to start with, which is this one. Also we got Wood Amp Mortar and Rapid Fire. Now I think Mortar is variant true. Oh, I might be wrong. Trying to remember. Same with leaf cutters. I'm not really sure. Medea. I think false is taunt. Stun is true. Is enabled. Okay, so if that's true, set is enabled. Set the button to be not enabled. If that's true, I think I'm going to do both here, because if one variant's enabled, you should be able to switch it. So the mortar stops being enabled and the rapid fire becomes enabled. And then the opposite way around down here. Now I might have these the wrong way around, but I'm just gonna see and change it when testing. Okay, coming back to you. Why don't you use the old movement code to test the levels? Unfortunately, it's partly my fault this. I was meant to do that. And then I was making changes and without thinking, I pulled the changes from the source control. So I got the movement code changes, and it's not just they've stripped the old code out. They haven't just it's not just a simple switch from one to the other. So it would require a lot of putting back in place, and it's not time that we've got to invest really. I can be working on other things. I shouldn't really have pulled. Although that said, the amount of things that the movement code changes have affected, I actually think I'll have needed to edit some of those files in the meantime. So I don't actually think I could have got away with not pulling in the end. Very looking forward to it. I'm oddly fascinated by ants. I could never get the old title. Yeah, Empire of the Ants. I think that game was very much loved, but it had quite a few issues. I think it was quite buggy. No pun intended. And it's a type of game that's hardly ever looked into. So when cameras, I dove right into it. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. But I think a lot of people loved it because of, well, its theme and what they attempted to tackle with it. It's kind of a shame that IP's just kind of faded. I never played it myself. We do have a copy of it. I tried to get it working at some point, but like you say, I couldn't. It requires a bit of work to get it working, I believe. Okay, so it was made in the days though where you didn't have so easy access to like engines. These days, like there's multiple free, very stable engines available to use. Well, they're sort of free. It's not free. It's royalty payments on Unreal Engine. It's not free. Don't think for a second we get away with using Unreal Engine for free. What's free to start with ends up costing a lot if you do alright. Good system though. Okay. Okay, so after all of that, what that should basically do, lockout upgrades. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, things were done differently, but you are right. There were things in place that should have been in place to prevent something like that happening. Okay, so there we are. What have we got here? Okay, so in here, there I'm disabling that individual button. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it so the next thing that happens is it runs the lockout upgrades again after it's done the purchase. Next, I need to build in the other upgrades because I'm still just working off one upgrade. If this has worked as I expected, when I hit play, the dialogue should come up and the wood amp melee should be locked out. Yep, that's exactly what I was expecting, as that purchase has already been made. Okay, so we'll work on the other purchases now. Hello, Slender Brian's show. Slender Brian's show. Good to have you with us. I'm still working on the map from yesterday. I haven't worked on it in between the stream, so it was when I started the stream at 1:45. It was still very much the map from yesterday, but at the moment we're. Oh, you mean did I work on the? I haven't worked on it since yesterday, not since the end of yesterday's stream. Though I'm sure I'll get the itch to try and smooth it out a bit more. Soon. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, we're going to do these other purchases, aren't we? Okay, so next is the wood ant. It's just called wood ant build, I think. The two different types of wood ant are the same cost, so that's a good point. How do I tell the variant? Oh, it's just this. It's literally just at this point I need to do it. Purchase 1 is the wood ant without the variant. Purchase 2 is the wood ant with the variant. So that should be the wood ant ones done. Purchase 3, I believe, is the leaf cutter Medea. Let's do that next. It doesn't have a variant. Then is the leaf cutter major. That'll That'll be the next two that the Leafcutter mages. They'll be an expensive unlock. Give me one sec, chat. I'll be right with you. I just want to rush through getting all these done. I believe there's one last one, which is the trap jaw, I want to say. Yep. Okay. Right, coming back to chat. Hello, hello, hello. Who have we got? Num 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 Troflax, or how have you spell it? So just working on finer detail subcommands today. Mostly super mages. Being at mobile tanks. I like to use a cluster of stun mages to lock down waves of hostiles. Yeah, it works quite well. Right, okay, so let's be so extreme. Well, we haven't got to the end waves of enemies yet, so let's see what we can do with that. I'm sure we can come up with something suitably extreme. Okay, so purchases should be should work now. So if I hit these, it shouldn't work because I can't afford them. I can't afford that either, but I should be able to afford this. That should cost 60. Did that work? I don't think I've made it update the score points, have I? So I won't actually know if it's worked until I close and reopen it. No, it doesn't look like it's worked. Right, back to the drawing board. Oh no, I know what I haven't actually linked up any of the buttons. Let's link up some buttons then. This is not the most glamorous task in the world. Just to remind people, it's only a short stream today. We're only going to be here for about another 20 minutes, so don't settle in too comfortably. Buttons. Who's got the buttons? Well. Right. Okay, so I believe, yeah, I literally just need to call purchase with the appropriate purchase number. And these should be in order at the minute, so that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. Lovely. I think that's that. And I can also, if I was to add more 7-hour stream. I tell you what, you can have a 7-hour stream when we release the next major update. So when we release the Fire Ants, I will do a 7-hour stream. How's that? Yeah, you have a bit of waiting to do there, I think. Yes, the next major update will be the Fire Ants, but we're quite a while off yet. The free play update will be a medium-sized update. Okay, so what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm testing, aren't I? Testing my buttons. Remember these words. Okay, so I still shouldn't be able to buy them because I can't afford them. However, I should be able to buy one of those or that. Let's try that. Right, well... I didn't really expect that one to disable when I bought... What have I done? That said, it has created the right button. It just hasn't locked out the right thing, so the lockout is just wrong. Let's check the lockout thing. I've clearly done something completely wrong here. Oh yeah, Medea. I've literally just plugged the wrong thing into something, because Medea's up there. Yay! Yay! Right, I believe if I press this button here, that should give me a load of, thanks to my cheating, that should give me a load of resources, and that should save it. So if I run this again, I should have loads. Yeah, cool. I'm not cheating. You can prove nothing. Okay, so next I want it to change this point value as you spend them. So let's do that next. Some point soon as well, I'm going to have to neaten this up a bit. It's just kind of thrown together at the minute. Actually, it's very easy to cheat at your own game. Because I build the cheats in. You have to cheat at your own game in order to so that testing times are sensible. So what am I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to make it remove the Wonga from your currency immediately. So if it's succeeded, then so that's it setting the unlock points. It then needs to set the text for the unlock points. To the new value. Plug the execution pins in. Okay. So that should be us. Maybe? Maybe? So now if I purchase one of these, yeah, that updates that immediately. Did that grade the wrong one out then? I think that's grade the wrong one out. So I've clicked mortars and it's grayed out rapid fire rather than graying out mortars. Okay, let's deal with that. So it's here, wood amp variant. So my guess is then that these are the wrong way around. So that way around is what I want. So this plugged into that one and that one. This plugged into that one and that one. That one. Oh god. Right, break links. Break links. Break links. Break links. Think that's right now? Think? Cool. And then if I rerun it, yeah, excellent. Question, is it on the table to increase the scale of maps, i.e. make them bigger, at least on the surface, make room to run around and maneuver or take out big targets? Big targets. Okay, so by big targets you mean things like the whip spider, for example, that we had in that level. Okay, so what's going on at the moment is there's a serious amount of optimization going on, and there has been for a couple of months now. And we've optimized all sorts of aspects of the game. Matt's kind of heading the optimization. He's dishing out the task, so he's profiling the game. So going through checking where the game spends its time, so how long it spends in each function of the game. So say the creature had a function to fire a missile like the wood ants do, had that function. He profiles the game and he sees that it's spending ages in that function, which they were actually. They firing projectiles was taking the game a long time to process. So he then goes, right, who deals with firing the missiles, tells that person. In that case, he actually just did it, and he's been dishing out tasks like that. And Liam's the one who got the movement code, and the movement code's kind of all in disarray now. I had a few tasks to do with creature collisions and all that, but all this profiling is leading to improved frame rates and a smaller footprint for each creature, essentially. So each creature that we have in the game takes up less and less stuff in the game, and as things take up less and less of the kind of processing power, we can increase the scale of things, so it becomes an option, is what I'm saying. Now, when that becomes an option is when we start to toy with those sort of things. And certainly with fire ants being the next creature in the game, we all know what fire ants do to large enemies. So I would say expect more large enemies in the game. And with large enemies might welcome large maps. We haven't made a decision on that, and I will probably see how far I can push it in some of the forthcoming free play updates. So I'll probably start increasing the map size to kind of test where we can get, because free play is really the test of the engine, because it throws a lot of creatures at you and such. I think it might be. I'll have a look at because it's like half made is the free play map. The stream will be coming to an end soon anyway, so we can take a look at those sort of things. And I've finished doing what I was doing here, so I'm happy to pause here for a moment whilst we take a look at that. So let's have a look at the rainforest free play map that I was working on a good while ago now. Embankment, that's the one. The whole dismemberment thing is one of those it's one of those things we've wanted to do, but we've never actually managed it. The way the game works at the minute, you have the harvesting thing, so the ants just kind of stand underneath it and stab at it for a minute, and then a chunk appears, and then when the enemy's empty, it sinks into the ground. Anyway, this is what I was working on. It's not been decorated at all yet, but the idea was it was like a river map, and these were just temporarily in place. They were going to be visually replaced by things like stuff leaning over the water. Now this map, if we have a look, so down here is the X and Y. So this is how many tiles it has in the X and how many tiles it has in the Y. So that's 180 by 120. I believe that is actually the biggest map we've ever done. I think before that the biggest map was the Dunes. Obviously you can't access all of the map because there's a huge chunk of it taken up by the river, but there's still quite a large amounts of space around the player nests in this one. It's loading the dunes at the minute. So that was 180 by 120. The dunes is 120 by 120. So yeah, essentially the new map embankment is, it's the same vertical height, but width wise it's the biggest. It is the biggest map we've ever done, is embankment. So yeah, we're starting to push that a little bit. You're probably right. We obviously at the moment we don't have the option to have multiple nests. Towhead is small, but yeah, Towhead was kind of designed that everything is kind of squashed into a small location. The dunes is much more open, wide, kind of exploratory, big wide areas, and the embankment one's kind of somewhere in between. But embankment's kind of quite structured, so like each area's got its own flat area, then the bridge. We're trying something different as we go through with the different ones. But yeah, that's going to bring us to a close for today. Look out for me next week. I'm back on normal times from next week, so expect me on Thursday. I'm not sure about Friday, but but I'll try and get one in earlier in the week as well. So just keep an eye on those Twitch notifications. But definitely Thursdays is the day that I usually commit to. Oh, thanks, Seraphine. I do hope this map plays nicely. We'll have to give it a go. And yeah, do put. We'll need. So you're in the testing group anyway, Seraphine. So so when we do get to the point of the new free play update needing testing, the new code will be in there, so you can give it a go. You might even be able to just load up one of your old free play colonies and just see immediately how the FPS has changed. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see that on that front. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. The test group was part of the Kickstarter. So it's a small group from the Kickstarter. However, actually, with the free play update, I am planning on doing a. Because it's free play, I am planning on opening it up. You are right. Just keep an eye on. Either keep an eye on the streams, because I'll mention it when we get closer, but also keep an eye on the Oh yeah, we're ending now, unfortunately. Wellcopter. Good to see you did drop in though. Well, the stream will end in a second, and you can. Yeah, don't destroy your PC. We need it for testing. It's terrifying. But yeah, the new free play update should be open for anyone who owns the game. Our newsletter should say it. So if you follow the Kickstarter, we put the newsletter out on there. We put it out on our blog. We also put out messages about it elsewhere. And you can sign up for it on the website to get it emailed to you. So if you go to the website, you can sign up there, and all the information about how to join that beta, how to join the open beta for that will be there. You're in store as long as possible. Right, fine. I'm not reading chat anymore. Right, it's been always good fun to work with you lot. Chatting away at me. I'll see you hopefully earlier next week. I'm not entirely sure when, but I will actually put out an announcement on the social media then. I didn't today because it's only a short stream, but I will earlier next week when we do it. Yeah. You have a good day too. Oh, stream's always fun. See you later.